Hi everyone, it's Karen from Fox in the Garden. I'm a little under the weather today. I finally came down with COVID. I had somehow managed to dodge it for a whole 2 years until now, so I'm a little mad at myself for it really, but I'm still feeling well enough that I think I can accomplish a few things today. So what I really need to do is get the peppers out of the garden. It will be the first frost within a week or so. Temperatures are starting to drop again. Yesterday it was up in the 80s, which I can't believe. But the frost is coming, so I'm gonna go gather all of the peppers out of the garden today, make some red pepper flakes, chop up some of the other stuff and let it freeze, and go from there. I'm trying to also replace the clothesline over here. I don't know if you guys can see it. Currently has blue line. That blue line is starting to wear away onto the clothes that I hang up, so when I take my clothes off, sometimes I have blue marks on it, so that's not cool. So I'm gonna replace that as well today. So hopefully I'll feel good enough to make this whole video, but either way I gotta get this stuff done. So well, that's the end of these peppers, unfortunately, until next year.
Let me get you some honey and some ginger, girl. I don't know you, but you mean the world to me, 'cause you save me from my reality. Yes, I know that it's bad for me to fall in love so casually, but I can't get enough of your normalcy. Cayenne pepper stranger, won't you stay for just a moment? How I'd love to be in love for just a moment.
Well, that's all the Edgevarsky and the bell peppers. That's a lot. I mean, it's November. And still lots of peppers.
Maybe you can help me forget. I bet you have a normal life now, don't you, honey? I bet that you can take or leave most anything alone. I bet you keep your slim physique with frequent running.
Not a bad haul. Okay, so we're back in my kitchen. So the goal here today is to make some Shishito flakes. So last year I usually have a bunch of Shishitos left over. I like them fresh, but I don't always eat them all. So this was a great way I came up with to get rid of them, or preserve them, not get rid of them. Excuse me. The goal today is to make some more Shishito flakes. So last year I had way too many. At the end of the season, as I always do, I don't eat enough of them fresh, I guess. And so I decided to just turn them into pepper flakes. And while they are not a spicy pepper, they still provide a lot of flavor. I still love to put them on pizza and stuff. I can always add the spice with hot sauce or something else and just use these sort of for flavor. They're a nice just dried pepper flake that you can throw into anything. So that's the goal today. So basically what we're gonna do is, these are formally dried ones. So I already did a batch of these earlier in the season. You can do it in two ways. You can put these on sheet pans and then put them in a dehydrator, or you can let them all sit out and they will just sort of naturally shrivel up on their own. However, when you do it this way, there's always the chance for mold. So I'd rather not do it that way. I'd rather have it put in a nice dry, controlled situation. So you can actually tell which ones I dried and which ones I let dry on their own. So this orangey colored one is a dehydrated one, and this redder one is one that I let dry on its own. So I sort of have to separate them at this point to kind of figure out which ones just need a little extra dehydration and which ones are okay. Mind the COVID coughing. So these are the ones I picked in the garden today. a little bit ago. I am currently waiting on the bread to get out of the oven. So once that happens, I'll be able to put these in after the oven cools a little bit to the dehydrator. So thankfully my oven is pretty freaking amazing, and it has not only an air fryer, but a dehydrator in it as well, which is super convenient for me right now. So we'll just go through that process today just so you can see it. These peppers that I got in the garden, I'm just gonna let the green ones ripen on their own, and then I'll probably eat these red ones now. Maybe I'll show you how to make my red pepper dip. It's pretty awesome at some point. But took all these in. It is gonna freeze in like a few more days. It'll get down to 32 degrees. So I just want to get ahead of it. And since I have COVID and I'm gonna be stuck in the house for 5 days, I might as well give myself some projects. So I do take off the little stems. That way when they're done, I can just throw them right into the grinder. So after these all dehydrate and I have a good batch, then I'll just throw them in the grinder and turn them into Shishito flakes. I'll show you that process later. Well, there's less red ones than anticipated, but I think it'll be okay. There'll be more green ones to come. I'll just do another batch later, and then we'll just shred them up when they're ready. So this is my clothesline, and like I was saying, this is the blue line that's on it, and it's actually bleeding out into clothes now, so I definitely have to change it. So I use a clothesline only semi-regularly. I don't use it to wash all my clothes. Actually, we put it up because at one point our dryer went out, which was a crazy mess. I had a kid in cloth diapers at the time. Not cool. But so it's a great thing to have just in case the power goes out or your dryer dies, or it's also great to kind of offset some of your clothes. I like to do it all my sheets out here. They smell great, and they dry faster, and I don't hog up the dryer because they do take longer in the dryer. So so I just like to have it. It's just great in an emergency situation too. Who knows when you need to, if you need to like hand wash your clothes and put it up. So just having one, I think, is just a good sustainable option. Emergency situations, etc. So here I go replacing the clothesline. To seal off an end like this, if you're not familiar with a rope or string, you can generally just take a lighter to it, especially if it has if it's just straight cotton, it probably won't work, but this actually has some plastic in it, so you can just do this to the ends and it will stop it from fraying. Just a quick tip if you need it. Now, I'm also pretty sure that there are some like super special clothesline hanging knots. Yeah, I don't know those. However, I did a lot of macrame in my day. And so far, some basic macrame knots have really helped me just with these clotheslines in the past, so hopefully they hold. They're all done. Ready to make red pepper flakes. Good morning, it's the next day. I left these Shishitos in the dehydrator overnight. It does take a while. I guess you have to speed up time essentially while you're doing this. So what I'm gonna do now is just make the red pepper flakes. Excuse the glasses. Just squeak it up. So ready to make some red pepper flakes. So I have a little ninja chopper that I use. You could use whatever you have. You don't have to use this, but something that's just gonna break these up into fine pieces, but not too fine, because you don't want to make red pepper powder. You just want to make red pepper flakes. So just something to keep in mind. So I'm gonna take these guys and put them into this thing. And all you do is chop it up. Just one quick little thing and you got some lovely red pepper flakes. Alright, so I had put the rest of my Shishitos in the oven and let them go for most of the day. They're all nice and crispy and dry. Just putting the last bits of the last stuff we had done before into my little jar. So I just put them in this little jar, and that's really all I do for my Shishito flakes. So thank you guys for joining me today with Fox in the Garden. I hope you appreciate the clothesline bit. I'm gonna link some things down at the bottom about different types of knots for clotheslines in case you're interested. But beyond that, it's just Shishito flakes and that for this week. And this is the COVID edition. And I'm not showing my face right now because I look crazy. But anyways, thank you for joining Flakes in the Garden. I'll see you next week.